Now we move on to another issue, which is a warning being issued as Irish wildfire season gets underway, because Coillte and the National Parks and Wildlife Service have kicked off wildfire season with a stark warning. They say humans are to blame for almost every forest fire in this country, and a careless spark from a campfire or disposable barbecue can devastate wildlife and destroy habitats for decades. Joining us this morning on this are Pat Neville, Communications Manager at Coillte, and we're also joined by John Lyons, as a committee member with the 12 o'clock Hills. And thanks to both of you for joining us on the show this morning. Pat, the Coillte saying almost every forest fire in Ireland is started by people. Mentioned, I guess, some of the most common causes: barbecues, campfires, that kind of thing. Are people just being reckless? Are they underestimating how dangerous these situations can be? Is it unintended consequences? What is leading to these human-started forest fires happening, do you think?
Good morning, and thanks for having me on the show. Yeah, that's exactly it. In our experience, forest fires almost never start from natural sources. It's always a man-made source of ignition. And whether that's a campfire or a barbecue that's lit in the outdoors and not extinguished properly, or someone burning land to clear vegetation, in dry conditions or windy conditions, that can get out of control very, very quickly and cause very, very significant damage.
From your perspective, John, what do you make of this? Is this something you see at the 12 o'clock Hills on any sort of regular or irregular basis? Has it caused issues in the past, be it people camping or barbecues, and have there been any serious or even semi-serious incidents?
Good morning, Alan. Good morning, Pat. Listen, the fire that was up in the 12 o'clock Hills last year was just ridiculous the way it was started. It was started by some people burning the core of copper wire in an area of the forest just off where the walk was, and obviously it was started on a windy day, and there was a huge area of the forestry destroyed. I walked it just in the evening, and like all those trees are all burnt, and some of them are actually falling down at the minute, you know. So I suppose, first of all, we have to be very grateful to Coillte for allowing us have our walks through. And yesterday afternoon, there was car park was full there. And I would say 99.9% of the people that use the woods and use the walks are really compliant with what we want. But on saying that, you know, I see in one of the plastic furniture sets in the top of the 12 o'clock Hills there, where somebody lit a barbecue or tried to light a fire in it, which is absolutely ridiculous, you know. So, you know, it destroyed the forest. It's a huge cost for Coillte. Last year there was a helicopter there for quite a long time trying to put out that fire, and you know that was maliciously started by. Shouldn't have happened, and it's huge cost, huge devastation, and it doesn't do us any favours either, you know, with the walks like that, you know.
And Pat, as John says, I'm thinking about, you know, if a forest fire happens, it's not a quick fix. You know, it can take some time for an area, and a lot of people enjoyed the 12 o'clock Hills, and there's a significant part of that is going to take quite a while to recover. And you know, you see that situation replicated elsewhere in the country where forest fires have been started.
Thanks, John and Alan. That's exactly it. Forest fires are extremely dangerous. They cause extensive and significant damage. So firstly, to advise the public, never approach a forest fire. They can move quite quickly, and the smoke can get very thick very quickly. So if you see a forest fire, always call the emergency services, but they have very, very serious consequences. So basically, they put the lives of the firefighting personnel at risk. So if that's Coillte staff or the NPWS staff or the emergency services staff as well, they'll have to control and contain the fire. They cause massive environmental damage. So the forest itself or the open mountain can be completely destroyed, and habitats that take years and decades to grow can be wiped out overnight. And wildlife as well, this time of the year, you have ground nesting birds and mammals with their young in dens and sets can't escape the fires as well. And then thirdly, there's a significant cost for forest owners, Coillte or private owners, the cost to control the forest fire, the cost of the loss of the standing timber that's been destroyed, and the cost to re-establish the forest. So that's a really frustrating thing. As John has said there, they don't start naturally. So our message is, if we're all more careful in the countryside when we're out and about this year, we could reduce the number of forest fires that we have.
And John, how do we go about that? Is it about more education, more awareness of the risks of forest fires and the behaviours that can lead to them? Or should there be, or maybe along with that, stricter enforcement or penalties for those who cause fires?
You see, Alan, it's we have signage there now on the way up to the forestry and stuff like that, and it's with the best will in the world. Somebody drops a cigarette when the weather's really dry, and usually top of the hill there's a good breeze to flame the fire, and it's difficult. But I'm saying that we need to warn people, and people need to be aware of we're on someone else's property first of all. Coillte are so good to us for allowing us to go through their woods. So it's important that we respect that. And I do believe, as I said, 99% of our people do that. But on saying that, it only takes one person to light that fire. Like that fire last year was I don't know what it cost, but it devastated a huge area of the wood up there, which is, still won't be pretty for a long, long time to come. So I suppose we can educate people. We can advise people. We can put signage there. But it's important that we do stop it. And the other thing that Pat mentioned there, when a fire starts in the forestry, like I would know the forestry from being living here, be close to it, but, access for people to get in to quench the fire isn't always easy. So the fire might be started somewhere where there is actually absolutely no access, and that causes problems as well.
And I just wonder from your perspective, Pat, what is the best way of reducing these incidences of forest fires starting, be they intended or unintended? Is, as John says, more signage at the 12 o'clock hills, all well and good, but is there more of a national awareness campaign needed, be it radio, TV, and also do you think there should be stricter enforcement or penalties? Are the potential penalties or fines that are there, are they not prohibitive enough?
I think Alan and John, you're touching on something very important there, and it's awareness. So a lot of times people mightn't be aware that if I light my barbecue and leave it behind me, if I light a small campfire, it could have issues. And we just don't think that way. It can take just 2 or 3 kind of consecutive dry days in a row for the vegetation in the uplands and the forest to become very, very dry and very flammable. So people might think a small fire mightn't have any big consequences, but it really can. And you've seen it there in the 12 o'clock hills. So that's exactly it, Alan. Awareness that if people are aware that lighting fires in the outdoors could have serious consequences, and not to do that. And for people burning land for vegetation clearance as well, we're inside the burning season now, so we're not meant to burn land again until September. So reminding people that there can be very significant consequences, health and safety, environmental, economic consequences to even a small fire, and that would make a big, big help, I think. We have an open forest policy in Coillte, and we're delighted to welcome walkers and groups into the forest. And if we're all a bit more mindful and we think a little bit more, behave more responsibly, then hopefully we can reduce the number of wildfires. So thanks to shows like yourself, Alan, and the work of people like John, to raise awareness and get people to think a little bit more about the consequences that might happen if they're burning in the outdoors. Hopefully we could reduce the number of forest fires.
Okay, hopefully we do see a serious reduction in them, given how devastating they can be. My thanks to both of you gents for being with us on the show this morning with that important, I suppose, warning or point or raising awareness of it. That's Pat Neville there, Communications Manager, Coillte, and also with us John Lyons, committee member with the 12 o'clock hills in Kilkishen.